I'm Derek Watson, and this is the Watson Report. We just got three topics for you today. We're going to talk about news and politics first. Elizabeth Warren is Native American, kind of, not at
Maybe.
all, actually, depending on who you ask. There's a good CNN article that says that she has, strong Native American roots. But then if you look at the actual results, it was between zero, so zero is a possibility, and about 1.5% chance that she had any Native American blood, which is less than the average Caucasian America. And here we are talking about this several years later. I mean, there's two sides to this, in my opinion. One, there's, as you've noted when we talked about, this story is so stupid that I hate that we're talking about it. Just the fact that, that she did this, and it's not even just that, and here's the other side of it. It's just disappointing that she would lie about something like that. But then, furthermore, to go on and build on that lie, use that as part of her Harvard application. And I'm not going to say what Trump says that that's the reason why she got it, because we don't know that to be true or not. It could have played a small factor, but I don't want to get into that. I think that she is a smart woman in the end. But that she used that there, and she's used that in her political life since then, talking about Native American recipes that her mother passed down, which were found to be plagiarized, and things like that throughout. And it's like,
I did not know about
why?
that.
Yeah, no, there's a few stories like that, and it's just like, why? And then she goes on. She calls Trump the racist or whatever for attacking her for lying, but then she says that he's attacking Native Americans when literally he's not, because she's not a Native American. So the whole story is, it's just another one of these stories that it's like, why aren't we talking about real issues here? Why is this woman even in power to begin with?
The main reason I put it in there, and I wanted to talk about it because even, when you're reading the article, you're like, this is, whatever, this is stupid. And I was like, that's the point. I think we should talk about it in a sense that this is a call to arms to Democrats in this game, because if you keep as Trump won because you played into his joke, you played into his Pocahontas nonsense, and by doing that, you've hurt yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because in a way, yes, we should laugh at this, because we should laugh at American politics occasionally, but you can't play into that game with him, because it's not going to work. Every time they do that, they lose.
He wins. Yeah, exactly.
Beat him on policy. Beat him on your politics. Don't beat him. Don't. We
can get into that. I mean, problem is Democrats can't win on policy because their policies are higher taxes and killing babies. So it's kind of hard to win on.
Although,
sorry,
don't even get me started on tax cuts and the deficit. But anyway,
deficit, yeah. Spending is absolutely a problem right now, and Trump has said that he'll never sign a bill like that again. I really hope he doesn't. Congress needs to get their act together. That's another example of if the parties could work together to come up with a better budget, because it's out of hand right now.
Yeah.
Spending is a different issue than the tax cuts, though.
And and I was, I do my best to listen to. I don't really have a choice when I listen to. This isn't a jab at conservatives, but this is a jab to certain conservative personalities. I have to listen to them because of the situation I'm in. But I listen to the other side, and when I listen to both these sides, I think they both can kind of agree that this was a dumb move. Like, why would you do this when you're 3 weeks out from the midterms?
What are you referring to?
The Elizabeth Warren stuff. Like, why?
Oh, yeah.
Why do the DNA test, all that stuff, play this game three weeks out?
I know. You
think that's gonna win?
Here's my opinion. I almost think that maybe she believed that she was Native American, and so maybe she didn't think she was lying. And if that's the case, I'll give her a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there. That's the only reason I could think that you'd actually do that. And other than that, I think that Democrats realized that the Kavanaugh situation really was hurting them in the polls bad, because actual American citizens that watched that, and there were a lot, saw that the way that they attacked him was just absolutely ludicrous, and how there was no proof that he ever did anything wrong, and they just filleted him.
I agree. I think that, it was even during the Gingrich stuff. There are definitely Democrats that flipped because of that, and the way that happened. And for me, it's like, again, if you don't agree, if you don't think Kavanaugh was a good choice, if you don't think that it happens, well, I'm not getting into the whole situation with the allegations because I don't know. I don't know any of the stuff that happened. None of us really.
She for sure lied. It became very obvious throughout this whole thing.
Well, my thing is, I'm not going to comment on that because I don't.
Yeah,
I don't really have. I don't really have an opinion of it, but I think that the way that the whole situation was treated on either side was not handled the best way, and I think it was worse for the Democrats because people are leaving. Because you're right, he was.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to disagree with you.
Well,
I think that the Republicans played that masterfully. I think they did that exactly the way that they should have. They gave her a chance to talk, which they didn't have to do.
Did a great job.
And then they hired a professional that is literally her job is to talk to people that are in these situations, knows how to ask the right questions so that she wasn't being drilled by a bunch of old white dudes, which the Democrats would have killed them over. They were very respectful about it the whole time. They did an investigation. They gave them another week for the FBI investigation. They went through all these hoops just to make honestly, in the end, because they knew that they were going to get it through, and that nothing was going to come of it because it was so obviously a political play that it made the Democrats look bad. And I think that for the first time in a long time, I really felt like the Republicans cohesively played the situation politically in a smart way, and while still treating this woman and Brett Kavanaugh with respect.
I guess my thing is, I think that I think that the Senate handled it it's handled it well with the investigation. Well, not with the hearing is what I meant to say, not the investigation. The hearing, I think, was handled well, and I agree with you there. I just think that after all that's happened with the Kavanaugh stuff, to have her have this DNA test and cause this is just idiotic. And then pressing him to pay the $1 million, I'm like, oh my God, you're making it worse. You're making it worse because he said this at a rally, and we know he does this. He says these things.
Well, I mean, and also
to pump up the crowd. Like that's his whole shtick.
And also, I think she should have to pay him the $1 million if they're going to go to that, because it says that it could be 0%. They just can't say with absolute certainty. And they also didn't test against any Cherokee blood. They didn't even use Cherokee blood in the test. So, I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah. And one final thing with that. If we're going to go based on those statistics, I'm sure you could probably find Native American blood in all of us, because that's where like our country starts.
And it's like the margin of error in these tests. So, anyways,
I guess not everybody, but a good portion of the population.
Well, yeah. The point is, with these tests, they're not 100% accurate. So you're probably going to have up to 1% of anything just because the nature of the test. All right, on to sports. In the NBA, G League is offering alternatives to one-and-done players. Well, it's actually, high school players who choose not to do the one-and-done pass. So, yeah, I guess that's worded right. I just sound like an idiot now. Basically, the NBA G League is now going to be offering $125,000 contracts for 18-year-olds coming out of high school, who would have been coming out of high school, who are elite talents. So there's only a select number of them, and obviously not eligible for the draft yet because they didn't go to college. I think that, it's about damn time that the NBA picks up on this, and it's exactly what baseball does.
And if I'm the NCAA, I'm pissed because I think...
Who cares? We hate those guys.
Oh, remember? I don't like the NCAA, but if I were the NCAA, I'd be mad because that's a lot of money you're taking out, because even the one-and-done people, they generate you a lot of money. But I agree. I mean, if they're not because if they're not going there for a real education, if they're a one and done, they're not going there for school.
Yeah.
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not do
Well, and I know it's not fair to anybody because who does it benefit when they go to college for 1 year? It benefits the NCAA and the school for having that talent. Sure, but when it comes to all the actual people involved, the player risks hurting himself and ending a multi-million-dollar, career, risks losing a contract, misses out on a year of real NBA training, and obviously is playing for free in that situation.
Right.
And then as taxpayers in a local area, you're paying for his scholarship essentially for him not to go to class, and then on top of that, you're paying to watch these players on television. Like apart from the NBA, or go to the games or pay concessions. There's all these things that go into it. It just doesn't make sense that they can't just go play pro if they're good enough. Obviously,
Right.
Baseball does it perfectly. They have like how many leagues that you can go into?
Well, yeah,
their
there's
draft lasts like a month because there's 2,000 players that get drafted.
there's like 2 or 3 levels of farm leagues that you go through.
Yeah.
Before you
So
play.
you can get out of high school and get paid a reasonable salary, like not 125,000, but just like a small salary. You might have to pick up an extra job on the side, like a lot of people do. But you can just start playing and then get better, work professionally, do what you want to do. And if you're good enough, eventually work your way up to get into the major leagues. It just makes so much sense. I think it's harder to do that with football just because the nature of the game.
Oh yeah, and there's
With basketball,
so much.
it's dumb that they haven't been doing this.
Right.
So
and,
how much do you think the Ball family has to do with this happening?
with the where did they
The
go?
G League expansion. Well, just because
I can't remember the country he went to, but
oh yeah, I don't remember Lithuania or
right. Yeah, it was Lithuania.
Was it? Yeah, something overseas. But that and just how vocal they've been about it and how big of a figure they be.
I think they're a huge impact on this. I think this change doesn't happen without LeVar Ball and the Ball family doing all the stuff that they've been doing, and it does change. I agree. I think
it's just so crazy. Think back to the first time you heard about LeVar Ball, like what your thought was. Like, all right, who's this dude?
This is the
He's
thing.
Crazy
People, and this is say what you want, but the dude's a genius, and like,
oh yeah, he's a brilliant marketer.
Because nobody likes him.
He's actually
but
pretty funny.
He's funny, but nobody likes him. And
His kids love him.
Changing the game. He keeps changing the game. And
he pretty much willed Lonzo to go to the Lakers.
Yeah. And then this stuff with the G League, he's pretty much said, oh, you know what? My kids are good enough. Don't go to college. We're going overseas so you can make money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's frustrating at like somebody that he's so smart in one thing, but like he's such a jerk at the same time. And he's entertaining. I'll give him that.
He is.
And he's changing the game. So I think it's a good thing. And I'm just wondering how this is going to work maybe with because the NBA has farm teams too. They have so maybe that's how it works too, is they play here or they go to the farm league and do, I don't know exactly how that works.
The G League is already a thing. It had the same rules so that they couldn't do like the straight out of high school and they didn't have those big contracts. So they're just adding to the G League. One thing I totally forgot I wanted to add to this. Did you happen to watch any UFC 229?
Oh, the riot at the end of it?
Yeah. So I'm going to start. Did you watch it?
I saw the end of it. I saw when Khabib jumped out of the.
Well, before that, Derek Lewis became my favorite UFC fighter.
Oh, my balls!
Did you see that interview? Oh my god, it was so. We were crying, laughing, watching this guy. I don't know if you saw the whole interview, but it's worth checking out.
Oh yeah,
it starts off with Joe Rogan coming up. He took his shorts off after he knocked the Russian dude out.
Yeah, I watched the whole
thing. Rogan's like, why'd you take your shorts off? Oh, my balls was hot. And then he goes on to say,
Donald Trump told me to knock that Russian mother effer out.
Yeah. and then one of my favorite lines, he's like, you're like a real contender now. How does it feel? He's like, man, I don't know. I just need to sit my ass down and do some cardio. The dude was funny. So he became my new favorite fighter after that. And then, for those of you that haven't seen, Conor McGregor going against Khabib.
Yeah, I just call him
his last name, Khabib, it was a really good fight. I mean, they both showed strengths. Khabib was winning for sure. And he got Conor to tap out, and it was an intense fight. I mean, great win for Khabib, undefeated. Conor just looked so like empty and defeated after. And then he had to go and ruin it by immediately just jumped out, attacked Conor's trainer, which is how the whole thing started when he slapped Conor's trainer, like before any of this stuff happened. So he goes, attacks him, and then I think the worst part is that he has two of his buddies jump in the ring and hit Conor in the back of the head right after he lost. I mean, that was like, if the UFC wants to avoid getting turned into WWE, like this stuff cannot happen.
Honestly,
and he needs to be. I don't think Khabib should be allowed to fight again.
I think this works for UFC in the right way.
No, you're a WWE fan. That's all you want.
You don't want it to be WWE, but I'm telling you, it gets eyeballs on there because people would have watched it anyway. You have your UFC fans, but that was mainstream news when that happened, and it's the same thing with Conor.
That's not what it's about, though. Conor McGregor gets them enough news. The attacking the bus thing was one thing, and it was a little much, but it didn't cross the line like nearly as much. He didn't really hurt anybody. It was a little stunt that they pulled, which I'm sure I think it was a little bit planned. But this, really? Yeah, because before the fight, they were doing all the build up and they were talking about how Khabib started it and then Conor went and threw the thing at his bus, and they had so many camera angles on that. Like really good camera angle. Like it was ridiculous. It was like 40 camera angles, and I was like, why do they have so many cameras on this right at that moment? Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they planned for him to throw the dolly at the bus, but I think that they planned to like kind of have him, like they knew he was gonna come out and they wanted a commotion, so they wanted to catch it, and then Conor escalated a little far. But no, I mean, it was disgusting to me what Khabib did after that fight, and I lost respect for him for sure. Hell of a fight, though.
Yeah. Real quick, before we move on, does Nebraska get their first win against Bethune-Cookman, or does it happen before that?
So either Minnesota or Bethune?
Yeah.
You know, I really, really want to say that we're going to win against Minnesota this week. But
yeah,
it's just, man.
After last week, I don't believe in anything this team
can do. Oh my god! Well, we were up by 10 with like 3 minutes left. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I've lost all faith in the sport of football. So,
hey, Baker Mayfield, man.
By the way, it's a big game this week. It's Bucks Browns this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that. I'll be sure to be texting you.
God, I'm so glad that the Bucks fired Mike Smith. I'm sorry. In the NFL, you can't lose games when your team scores almost 30 points every game.
You
can't. It's ridiculous. So, what's the next topic?
I think we're gonna let's talk about what we came here to talk about.